Hello, welcome to this week's video. Coming up in this week's video, my Quad Cortex in action in rehearsal. Then playing the same song at a gig, but through an amp. Here's a little snippet from right at the end of the video, a preview of what I think is my best Les Paul tone to date. And finally, that's going to finish the video, is my official video of one of my tracks.
Thinking about the long game. Thinking about the long game.
So if you saw my video last week, you'd have seen that I discovered that I thought the models on the Quad Cortex that it shipped with when I very first bought it were the best sound that I'd got out of the unit. Never having really used the models, I'd always used the captures that I'd done of my own amps, only to discover that that was probably the wrong route. So in last week's video I showed some footage of a rehearsal and of a gig, but the rehearsal was of some of my own songs which we were rehearsing as a band as we've been asked to play them at a gig later on this year, but we actually had a gig last weekend where we tried them out. So I thought this week's video would be an interesting comparison to see what the songs sounded like on the gig played through the amp, because on this gig it was a pub gig and I would still think that probably with a Quad Cortex you need a proper PA with everything through it, which you don't really need in a pub. In a pub, just using a little vocal PA, so we're using our own back line, just with the vocals going through the PA, although we do use in-ear monitoring. So I thought it would be an interesting comparison, and you could leave me some comments and see which one you think sounds better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, not the whole thing as I showed it last week, but do check out last week's video. I'm going to show you me attempting to play Scuttle Buttin by Steve Raven. It's the first time I'd ever played it with a band and it's a little bit scrappy. So check this out, this is through the Quad Cortex. Now, just before I show you the footage of me doing this on the gig, I would say it's the first time I've ever played it in front of a live audience. That time you just saw was the first time I'd ever played it with a band. So I didn't quite get it right. And I also made the mistake of going, that's a great opening track. Let's start with that. Probably wasn't the best thing as I'd never played it before because it's a bit full on. I can't make any adjustments to my in-ear monitor sound or anything like that. So it was a bit of a funny one to go straight in on because we don't really sound check when we play in a pub. We just went straight in and did it. So as you can see, I'm going to show the whole of this, and by the end of it I was starting to settle into it, but it was a rather brave attempt going straight in from cold. Also to note that obviously the previous recording is recorded direct, the Quad Cortex is direct into my desk. I'm using a digital desk that I can multi-track record on. The live gig, I've got a microphone, it's a Sennheiser 609 is it? It's the square one that lays flat against the grill cloth. I'm miking up the live amp, so that's a difference as well. So without further ado, here's the live version of Scuttle Buttin, and I apologise for the scrappiness in the first couple of choruses. what do you think? What's the better tone? I actually think the Quad Cortex probably wins on this occasion. I need to work on my tone for this one through the amp, but leave me a comment, let me know what you think. And also I noticed last week, because it was quite a popular video last week, that lots of people that watched it weren't subscribed. So if you're not subscribed and you want to see some more of my videos, please hit subscribe and hit the bell, and you'll know when I'm bringing out a new video. Now this next clip, I'm not going to compare this to a rehearsal clip. I just wanted to show this because this was a different tone with my Strat. We did a Hendrix song, we did Voodoo Child. So just going to show you this just so you can hear what the Strat sounds like, a bit more driven, and then I will tell you what the amp etc is I'm using.
Voodoo child, voodoo child. Lord knows I'm a voodoo child. Sweet time, I'll give it back to you one of these days.
So there we are, a bit of Hendrix there, and what I'm using, my amp is a Carr Viceroy, which is a kind of Fender style thing. I think it's two 6L6s, and it switches down to 7 watts. It's either 33 or 7 watts, and I'm using it on this gig on 7 watts, and it's not really particularly wound up. It's probably on, I don't know, if the dial goes all the way round, it's probably on about a third, if that. There's two different volumes. There's a drive which kind of acts as a volume, so it's not very loud. And I always have an EP boost when I'm using my Strat. It's the exotic EP boost, so that just adds a little bit of colour and a little bit of push to the front end. That's the first thing I plug into. And then I think for overdrive I was using my Keeley modified blues driver, the Boss BD2, but the Keeley modified one. So I think that's all I'm doing sound wise on that. And on that middle bit I've got a Univibe setting on my Eventide H9, so, and the wah-wah, which is a Clyde Deluxe wah-wah. So that's the signal chain that we're going through, which I'm using on obviously all of the clips from the live gig here. Now another rehearsal comparison. I didn't show this clip last week from the rehearsal. Now this is a tune of mine that actually isn't released yet. It's called Come and Gone, and it's a kind of nod to Mark Knopfler via John Mayer. John Mayer, his last album was kind of using some ideas from the songs that he grew up listening to from sort of 80s and 90s, and so I've written this song about John Mayer copying these old songs, and it's my kind of tribute to Dire Straits. So this is the only time I've ever relearnt one of my solos that I've recorded. So both these clips, they're similar, still haven't got them quite right, but I have actually learnt note for note my solo that I played on the recording, which I've never done before. On the Quad Cortex I'm using the Fender Deluxe setting, the blackface one with the matching cab, and I'm probably putting their model of the blues driver, which is what I use live, through it. So check this out. This song is called Come and Gone, and this is my solo from it. Now onto the live one. So what you're seeing at these rehearsals is the first time we've ever tried playing these, and then it's 2 or 3 weeks after the gig, so we've kind of half forgot them. So there's a few mistakes in this, but I was very pleased with the way all the live stuff went, actually, for a first attempt live, these original tunes. So here we go. Here's me trying to play this solo at the gig. So see what you think of the tone through the Carr amp. Probably a similar thing. I'm probably using the Carr, and I might be using the blues driver. Not sure, can't remember, but check it out. Again, I think in some ways I prefer the Quad Cortex sound here. It seems to be more in your face. I mean, there's obviously variations the way I've mixed these things. Both rehearsal and the gig, I'm using my Allen Heath CQ18 to multi-track record the gig. And with the live recording, we've got more spill and stuff on the vocal mics, which is picking up the guitar and changing the sound that you're hearing. But it's still, you know, it's a good comparison. I think the Quad Cortex in some ways is better on this for recording purposes. It might not sound so good in the room, but it sounds really good on this. And if you want that preset, it's on my Cortex Cloud profile, which is TJ Walker, and it's called Trio Rehearse. If you check out last week's video, all the clips on that video were from that preset, and lots of people have been asking about it. So if you want it, it's called Trio Rehearse. Right, now onto the Les Paul tones. What I do now on my pub gigs is I play the Strat on the first set to do the sort of Hendrixy, Stevie Ray Vaughan stuff, and then I switch to, well, I was switching on to my 335, but I've just bought the Les Paul. Check out my video reviewing that. But I've just bought the Les Paul, so I'm using the Les Paul at the moment, but I probably will go back to the 335 at some point. And we do the more rocky stuff. Now, on the Quad Cortex, I did set up the preset, the one that you can download, with a Fender Deluxe and a Marshall amp, so I can switch between the two for the more rocky stuff using the Gibson through a Marshall. But actually, I think on this clip that I'm about to show you from one of my original songs, it's using the Blues Deluxe model with the Boss Blues Driver model. So the song I'm going to show you is called Dreamcatcher, and it's the opening song off my second album, which is called Halfway to Somewhere, and that's available everywhere, Spotify, Apple Music, etc., if you want to check that out. But there's also a live version of me playing it with a band, which I also used the Quad Cortex with. It was one of the, before I discovered that the models sounded so good, it's the capture of one of my own amps. But check that out, that's a good version. So I'll link to that here, but that's also, if you go to the homepage of my YouTube channel, it's the video that comes up when you first go onto that page. So this is the rehearsal footage through the Quad Cortex of my song Dreamcatcher. now this is the footage of me playing my Les Paul through my car amp on the gig. First time we've ever played this song, and I think it went pretty well. So here we go, here's the live version. Have a listen, see if you think you prefer the sound of the amp or the Quad Cortex from the last track. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave me a comment, let me know what you preferred, the Quad Cortex or the amp sound. I bring out new videos at 7 PM UK time every Friday, so hit subscribe, hit the bell, then you'll know when my new videos are coming out. Now, the clip I'm going to leave you with is from the gig. I'm not going to do a comparison with the rehearsal now. This is the title track from my first album, and it's called Long Game. And I'm ending with this one because I think it's the best Les Paul tone I've got so far. I've done, I don't know, 10 or so gigs. I've had that about a month. Done quite a few gigs on it now, and it's like with any new guitar, just getting used to it, making it settle in. But I'm really pleased with the tone I got on this song. But I only had one camera angle because the GoPro that was on top of the, clipped on top of the bar and was filming the whole band, unfortunately ran out because it was the end of the set. We'd played for about 2 hours and the battery ran out. But my phone is still going from that rather unflattering angle on the floor that you've already seen. So I'm going to play this. This is Long Game, and what I've done, I've spliced the end of the actual video that I made for this song, which is the thing that I'm most pleased with that I've made of any video. I filmed the whole thing, edited it, coloured it, did everything for it. Actually, I'm going to link to it here, so please check that out. I think it's a good video. My neighbour Dan plays my dad in it, and my wife Sarah plays my annoyed fiance. I borrowed a neighbour's old American car and everything. I think it's quite a good video, but I'm only going to show you the end of it on this video. But that link, go and check out the full thing because I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next week. Here we go. About the long game, you can't leave it anywhere. When you get back, it might not be there. Drive you to drink and to despair. Start thinking about the long game. Thinking about the long game. Thinking about the long game. Thinking about the long game.